Hello, good evening. It's News360 coming to you live from the news hub here at Adesa Wekanda. I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Coming up this evening, the minority in parliament accuses the NDC government of betraying public trust with the sudden introduction of the energy sector levy.
And also tonight, no agreement to end ongoing strike by nurses as GRNMA and Ministry of Health closed-door meeting ends inconclusive.
Later in the bulletin, the Narcotics Control Commission and allied agencies seized substantial quantities of tramadol and various unregistered pharmaceutical products at the Tema port.
In business news, economist Professor Peter Quarty calls for holistic approach to Ghana's energy debt, warning against sole reliance on fuel levy.
Elsewhere in the foreign front, dozens of activists staged protests outside a mortuary in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, following the death of a 31-year-old man in police custody.
We have details of all these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Don't go away.
We are starting on issues regarding the energy sector. By this time around, let's start from what parliamentarians are saying. Now, the minority side in parliament has accused the NDC government of betraying public trust with the sudden introduction of the energy sector levy. They argue that the move marks a complete reversal of the party's earlier stance against such taxes, describing it as hypocritical and deceptive. The levy, they say, is not only one of the highest in Ghana's history, but also quietly places a heavier burden on Ghanaians than the much criticized e-levy.
The introduction of the New Energy Sector Levy Amendment Bill 2025, now commonly called the D-Levy, has sparked mixed reactions across the country. While some have praised it as a bold step to fix the ailing energy sector, critics argue the levy places additional pressure on ordinary Ghanaians. But government insists it's a necessary sacrifice for reliable power. Adding their voice to the concerns, the minority in parliament has sharply criticized the move. Ranking member on Parliament's Energy Committee, George Obuaji, accused the NDC government of making a shocking U-turn barely 6 months into office.
Government, in a 360-degree turnaround and in a stark contrast to all its promises, has in less than 6 months imposed on Ghanaians the very levy they swore they never will. The NDC, then in opposition, swore that it will never impose taxes to pay for the inefficiencies in the energy sector. This is hypocrisy of the highest order. This is a betrayal of the public trust.
He further questioned the lack of clarity on the levy's purpose, citing contradictions between the president and the energy minister, and accused the government of pushing the bill through parliament in a clandestine manner.
His Excellency President Mahama on May 13, 2025, this is what he said, and I quote, "We are using the proceeds from the energy sector levy to pay down the arrears," unquote. Honorable John Jinapo, the energy minister, also on June 4, 2025, this is what also he said. "This levy is not intended to pay off legacy debt. So, which is which? This bill was never advertised on the order paper for the day. In fact, it was not even discussed at the business committee meeting prior. It was not included in the business statement for the week. Instead, it was sneaked through by a one-page order paper addendum, getting to the end of sitting on the said day under a certificate of urgency."
For his part, ranking member on the Economy and Planning Committee of Parliament, Gabor argued that the levy ranks amongst the highest levies in the country's history. He claimed it takes more from Ghanaians than the controversial e-levy ever did.
For this particular levy, at the first instance, the government is charging the people of Ghana 8%. And this is one of the highest rates at first instance in terms of taxation. While the e-levy had a limited cascading effect, this Dumsor levy has a total 100% cascading effect because it affects transportation and consequently any item that is transported. So if repealing the e-levy puts 2 billion back into the pockets of Ghanaians, what does introducing the Dumsor levy that takes away 5.7 billion do? We think that what the government should do is to conclude the renegotiations of the of the power purchase agreements which were started by the previous administration. Government should quicken the efforts to bring efficiency into the operations of GRIDCO and ECG to reduce transmission, distribution, and other technical losses.
Right, so we'll stay in Parliament. Let's find out what the majority side think of this presser by the minority side of the House. Joining us now for a conversation is the chairman of the Energy Committee in Parliament, Emmanuel Bedra, who is also the Member of Parliament for Whole West. Mr. Bedra, good evening. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for reaching out to me.
The minority is accusing you of a number of things, and I want to start from where they say that they had no knowledge of this bill in the first place. The majority side sneaked it through the back door into Parliament, and then on their blind side, it was passed. Is that a position you agree with?
I'm really surprised and shocked because my colleagues from the majority side were at a meeting when we had a discussion.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, go on.
Yeah, I was saying that I'm surprised that my colleagues from the other side would make that statement that they were shocked. Shocked in whole sense. You have an addendum to agenda for the day. And so that addendum was admitted by the House. And the referral was made to committees. And you were there, both Energy Committee leadership as well as Finance Committee members. And so nobody's sprung any surprise on anyone. We all went through the bill. If there are any issues, you raise it at the committee level, and therefore you stated that you were not going to be part of it. And so the committee's report was not a consensus report, but majority report. Now, what's left for you to do is to come to the floor of the House to debate it and make your case known. The reason why you were not for it. All we saw was that they walked out of Parliament and making noise. I mean, going around saying that they were surprised, they did not know anything about the bill.
So, Mr. Bedra, are you saying that, what the minority is saying is that it was not even brought to the committee level. So what you are saying is that it was at the committee level, but the minority did not participate.
They were there. The minute of our meeting was clear. The Finance Committee Chairman, Honorable Amin, was at the meeting. My colleague, my ranking member, was at that meeting. The deputy ranking member was at that meeting. And then all the members from their side on the Finance Committee were there. So what are they talking about? That we just walk in and pass this bill? They should be serious once and for all. I mean, we cannot continue like this. They're deceiving Ghanaians that they did not know anything about it. They were not there at all. That's a big lie, at the least to say.
Right. But what then do you make of the other concerns? So it's not just a minority that have raised concerns about the bill in itself, or the levy, I should say. For instance, the Trotro Drivers Association have said that if nothing is done about it, they are also going to go on a strike, and that naturally will affect, many people who use public transport. Again, and almost everybody that buys or purchases any petroleum product. And then again, we are also told that the level of engagement and consultations were not done effectively, for which reason many seem surprised about this levy and the onward reaction. So, as a member of the committee in Parliament, do you think things could have been done otherwise?
Consultation is not done just in a day. Consultation is continuing. It is every day. And I believe that they are still consulting. The Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Energy and Green Transition is still consulting. I can tell you that there was this group called COMAC, who initially issued a statement. Today, I received another statement from the same group that after the consultation with the ministry, they have received their initial, press conference that they gave out. And so they've released another press conference that they support the ministry. They will continue with the ministry. It was the same consultation that has happened. Now, my brothers and sisters from the transport sector, it is all because of this misinformation from the minority that is leading to all this. Let me tell you, there's not going to be an increment. The bill says there's not going to be an increment on any petroleum product. The windfall of 1 cedi that we ask that petroleum producers or petroleum consumers should pay will not increase export price at all.
Right.
Now, what it means is that if government will reduce petroleum products further because of the prudent management of the economy to make sure that we have our cedi being our cedi appreciating against the major currency, and also the world market prices going down. We will not, even if we want to reduce it, we'll use that 1 cedi as a levy to across board. And so there will not be any reduction, or there will not be, if there's further reduction, it will rather reduce. It will not go up. Now, if petroleum product, let's say, a liter was around 17 cedis when we came to power in December, and today it's around 12 cedis, we will continue to sell it at 12 cedis.
Right.
If transport owners have reduced their prices because of the 12 cedis, nobody is going to increase anything to make it 30. It's going to be the same thing. So I don't see a problem. I don't see why our brothers...
Finally and briefly, would you agree, Honorable Bajwa, that then maybe the public education and awareness has not been done well enough for people to hear?
I perfectly agree with you that we did not do public engagement well, and that is why some of us decided, including members from the majority side, decided that we will go ahead and do public engagement. Tomorrow, I'll hold a press conference and inform the public about exactly what this bill is all about, or what this act is all about.
Okay. Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bajwa, Member of Parliament for Ho West and Chair of the Energy Committee in Parliament, thank you for speaking to us this evening.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Godwin Edigi Tameklo, has disclosed that the 1 cedi levy on a litre of fuel will be reviewed in 2 or 3 years after the completion of the second gas project. He noted that it will reduce the country's reliance on liquid fuel for power generation. We bring you a news desk report on ESLA.
Government first passed the Energy Sector Levy Act in 2015 to help clear legacy debts owed by the Electricity Company of Ghana, Volta River Authority and Tema Oil Refinery to ensure financial sustainability of the sector and support for power generation and distribution, among others. Almost 10 years on, Ghana's total energy sector debt as of March 2025 stands at $3.1 billion. According to Finance Minister Dr. Asiedu-Dartey, the debt includes money owed to independent power producers, state-owned enterprises and fuel suppliers. Ghana's shift in power generation to thermal to supplement hydroelectric sources means the procurement of liquid fuel to power the thermal plants. The cost of liquid fuel, the minister explained, has not been factored into electricity tariff, leading to huge revenue losses. Dr. Asiedu-Dartey added that incorporating it into the tariffs will cause a tariff hike and subsequent pressure on households. The introduction of the 1 cedi levy on a litre of fuel will help generate funds, although inadequate, to defray the debt and pay some of the cost of liquefied fuel.
Our simulations suggest that there will be no increase in the export price of petrol and diesel in the next window beginning today if the levy is imposed. This is because of a strong Ghana cedi. Right, Honorable Speaker, the levy will serve as a dedicated source of funding to the power sector. and the proceeds will be earmarked for the procurement of essential fuel for power generation.
Addressing the importance of the energy sector levy, CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Gabor explains why a sunset clause was not included in the current levy.
In 2015, President Mahama had put a 5-year sunset clause in the ESLA Act. Yeah. But when we went for the bonds, their tenor extends up to 2035. So you cannot do anything relative to putting in a further sunset clause. Our expectation is that if we get the second Ghana gas project on stream in 2-3 years' time, the benefit that we'll have is that we'll have more lean gas. So the idea of liquid fuel for power generation will significantly reduce, for which reason the 1 cedi had come in. So it may now come to, say, maybe 50 pesos.
The government has since postponed the implementation of the fuel levy by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, from June 9 to June 16, 2025. Lodido Asari, TVC News, Accra.
Let's move away from fuel, this time to health-related matters, and tension remains high as the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association and the Ministry of Health have yet to reach a consensus following hours of closed-door negotiations. Despite an injunction notice served by the National Labour Commission halting the ongoing strike, public hospital services across the country continue to face significant disruptions.
It was a long day of talks behind closed doors at the Ministry of Health with the hope of resolving the nationwide strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, GRNMA. According to the ministry, proposals have been made to the association awaiting their response.
Today we were looking at them giving us assurance that they were going to call off the strike because government has made some proposals to the nurses. And they have told us that they want to go back to their council to have a discussion, and then they're going to come back to us. So we hope that by close of day, these nurses will come back to tell us that they've called off the strike, because we in the Ministry of Health have shown a good faith to actually facilitate this particular meeting so that we can have a resolution to this matter.
However, GRNMA has expressed displeasure towards the ministry's proposal to defer the implementation of an agreed-upon conditions of service package to 2026, citing budgetary constraints.
We were told that there was no budget provision for it. And these conditions of service was presented to the incoming government in January. And it was expected that it would be factored into this year's budget. And what they wanted us to agree on was to push the implementation to 2026. What it means is that they wanted to reset the conditions of service calendar so that it will be like we have just renegotiated and then we are moving on, so that the idea of arrears will not come in. This is not fair.
Despite the lack of progress, the GRNMA says it will comply with the National Labour Commission's injunction notice, but warned this development could affect future engagements with the government.
You were here when the Labour Commission bailiffs came to serve us court processes, an injunction to restrain us from whatever series of actions that we have deployed. It is okay. We will take it and then go back to whoever that our council does send us, and then we'll take it from there. We have to respect the law. We are not lawless people. We only see it to be what? Unfair, and that it will compromise future engagement.
And in the eastern region, over 500 patients may be left without access to health care at the regional health facility as nurses and midwives escalate their strike action by withdrawing all services. Ivonikwe reports some patients unable to wait any longer walked away in frustration.
Usually bustling regional health facility now stands deserted.
Strike action by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association is in full force here Adesin Regional Hospital. On a daily basis, on the average, over 500 clients come in here to seek services. For the past days, it means that these number of clients or patients at Asiedu will not have access to healthcare services. Already, the chairs or sitting areas are getting empty by the day because it is beginning to dawn on them that the nurses will not provide services.
We place on record that we are not happy as nurses and midwives to go on strike, but we are doing this to save ourselves, to save our families, and to save the future. Why am I saying so? Nursing and midwifery is an essential care in the country, but I can confidently tell you that we have one of the poorest conditions of service in this country. Nurses and midwives are suffering from chronic conditions and at the end of the day do not have any form of support. Why should it always be nurses and midwives?
Of course, we have seen clients coming to the hospital frustrated because the nurses are unable to take care of them because of the defiance in continuing the strike action. We're hoping that government on one side and the nurses leadership on one side come together to resolve this amicably. Otherwise, we might have a backtrack in progress made towards Sustainable Development Goals 3 to give access to healthcare.
I saw some of the nurses on my way here and I thought they would be around. I got here only to be told they are on strike. I have been sitting here for a while now, at least thinking someone would attend to me, but that has been to no avail.
In more news tonight, a substantial quantity of tramadol and various unregistered pharmaceutical products have been seized at the transit terminal of the Tema port. The operation was conducted by the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority in collaboration with the Narcotics Control Commission, the Food and Drugs Authority, and other enforcement agencies.
The seizure was made from a container with registration number TRHU3329853, reportedly imported by Alpha Tar Ghana Limited. Upon inspection, 25 cartons of tramadol, 120 mg were discovered. The substance was packaged in a complex configuration, 60 boxes per carton, each containing 5 packs of 20 tablets, arranged in 10 packets per strip, with 5 tablets per packet, an apparent attempt to evade regulatory detection. A formal notice of seizure number 0001632 was issued on June 9, 2025 by a seizing officer from the Anti-Racketeering Unit of the GRA, Richard Apple Inkum. The confiscation was carried out under the authority of Section 95 Clause 10 and Section 37 of the Revenue Administration Act 2016, Act 915, as well as the Customs Act 2015, Act 891, which governs the importation of controlled and undeclared goods. In addition to the tramadol, further quantities of unregistered and potentially counterfeit pharmaceuticals were detained. These included 75 cartons of amiodarone hydrochloride tablets, 41 cartons of MEDIK 55, 150 cartons of Davigra 150, and 42 cartons of product labeled Royal Chests and Lungs. Also intercepted was a shipment disguised as Milk Candy Royal, which was found to contain 15 cartons, each packed with 50 packets of 40 cartons containing 20 boxes of paracetamol BP 500 mg. The seized substances are believed to pose significant public health risks and are suspected to be part of a broader pattern of unauthorized pharmaceutical imports.
Let's speak to the Assistant Commissioner, Sector Commander of the Tema Collection, Theresa Potaki. Madam Commissioner, thank you so much for your time. Do we know the source of this consignment as seized by your outfit and its destination?
Yeah, good evening, TV3. The consignment is on transit, and it's from India and en route to Niger.
All right. Now, has the importer accepted ownership of this consignment?
Well, we haven't. The importer is in Niger, so we still haven't spoken to the importer. We've met with the agents or the declarants, and he's assisting and cooperating with investigations presently.
Now, what steps is your outfit taking to clamp down the importation of these drugs?
As for the importation, we'll have to keep picking them and they'll get tired, we hope. You know, because this consignment, our officers at the manifest unit detected it. They found it suspicious because the declarants or the agents applied to customs asking to amend the manifest to read the type of the description of the consignment to read biscuits instead of pharmaceutical. So you're changing from biscuits from pharmaceuticals to read biscuits. And also he wanted to change the importer name, which was initially Ibrahim Gabor in Niger, to read a biscuit factory in Burkina Faso. So they found it funny. They found it suspicious because initially it read pharmaceutical. So why are you now talking about biscuits? So we just clamped on it, took the necessary steps, informed the various agencies, and then we conducted the inspection.
Thank you so much for your time, Assistant Commissioner, Sector Commander of Tema Collection, Theresa Potaki.
Now, Parliament is set to begin drafting legislation to support lifestyle audit of individuals suspected of amassing unexplained wealth, marking a significant step toward enhancing Ghana's fight against corruption. Alban Bagbin, Speaker of Parliament, made this known when he met the heads of key accountability institutions in Ghana.
The Speaker, while emphasizing the need for collaborative efforts to combat corruption and promote accountability in Ghana, hinted of a lifestyle audit legislation to curb lavish display of questionable wealth.
I am to this end receiving a lot of inputs to process legislation in lifestyle audits. We will legislate and we will stop this impunity of people flouting ill-gotten wealth in the face of poor Ghanaians. No person or one institution alone can fight corruption and crime successfully. Corruption is a monster, hydra-headed, very elusive and difficult to fight.
He also added the institution of the Vulture Awards to expose and shame corrupt individuals deemed the most perverse and morally bankrupt in public life.
We believe that honoring ethical conduct is just as important as sanctioning wrongdoing. I'm not only talking about the awards to those that have shown ethical behavior and integrity, but I'm talking about the sanctioning too. And therefore, we are including that principle, the concept of naming and shaming, by adding the Vulture Award. There's no sanction worse than that. That will be your cross. We want to bestow it upon men or women considered perverse and with the lowest level of integrity in this country. And we see it on a daily basis. People exhibit it with impunity on TV. This, we will identify such a person and name the person when we are doing the awards for the persons of integrity. Whether the person attends to take the cross or not, it will be hung there on the person's head.
On his part, convener of the heads of key accountability institutions and Commissioner of Strach, Joseph Whittal, while highlighting the importance of the forum, emphasized the need for synergy and collaboration in the fight against corruption.
Let's take you to the Ashanti region now. The final burial rite of the late paramount chief of the Asante Mampong has been held. The President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, led a high-powered government delegation to pay their last respect to the occupant of the silver stool. William Evans Inkum has come through with the following report.
Culture, splendor, a solemn mood for the occupant of the Amaniampon stool, Dasibre Osei Bonsu II, born Saint Oswald Jimakase, died on April 20. He was 86 and spent 26 years on a silver stool.
He is the second in command in the Ashanti-man, and for that matter, after the golden stool, this is the silver stool.
He's remembered for introducing the Santehene to the Asante-man Council in 1999. He later swore the oath of allegiance to the king. The President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, led a high-powered delegation to pay his last respect to a man he calls a friend. Former Presidents John Agyekum Kufuor and Nana Akufo-Addo attended the burial rites. The acting Chief Justice led the Judicial Council to pay their last respect to the Mampene, who was a lawyer before becoming a chief. He will be buried on Monday night in accordance with royal customs.
You're watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have more for you after the break.
Is brought to you by MTN. Touch concentrated perfume.
Welcome back to News 360. Time now for business, and Michael has joined us. So there's a concern that it is not just that we need to tax and take levy to offset the debts in the energy sector. We need to go beyond that.
Exactly that. Consider the fact that ESLA was introduced 10 years ago. Yeah. Another one has come, and if you're not careful, we'll repeat the cycle. Yeah. So Professor Peter Quartey believes that there must be a more strategic and targeted approach.
Okay. Let's go into it.
To the details now. Hello there. Good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, economist Professor Peter Quartey has called for a holistic approach to addressing Ghana's energy sector debt, warning that relying solely on tariff increases will not resolve the underlying challenges. There is more in the following report. Professor Peter Quartey's comments follow the government's introduction of a 1 Ghana cedi levy on every litre of fuel aimed at helping to tackle the sector's ballooning debt, which officials say have reached unsustainable levels. Speaking to 3 Business, Professor Quartey cautioned that unless structural bottlenecks in the sector are addressed, the country risks imposing additional levies in the future to manage recurring debts.
You cannot use a new levy to address this problem. There are other inherent weaknesses that we have to address. Otherwise, if we use levy alone to address the challenges of the sector, in the next couple of years, we'll be back again asking for more money.
Meanwhile, commenting on the revenue collection side of the policy, tax analyst Francis Timorboy stated that he does not foresee any challenges. He, however, stressed the need to sustain the currency stability to mitigate the impact on consumers.
It is hoped that even though these variables are not within, too much of the government's control, the policies that have been put in place will continue to keep the exchange rates down. But the danger is that if the exchange rate starts going up, then the fuel price will go up than what we even experienced in the past.
Now, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRT, has officially called off its planned strike following discussions with the Transport Ministry. Public Relations Officer of GPRT, Ibrahim Imoro Abba, stated that the decision came after government postponed the commencement of the 1 cedi fuel levy to June 16, 2025.
President John Mahama on June 5 signed the energy sector levy bill into law, introducing a 1 Ghana cedi on each litre of fuel purchased. This is to address the ongoing power crisis and rescue Ghana's indebted energy sector. The GPRTU expressed strong opposition to the move, threatening a nationwide strike if the government did not rescind its decision to implement the levy before the 10th of June. Despite the backlash, President John Mahama has defended the decision, saying although it is difficult, this is necessary for the country's energy future. In the latest development, the GPRTU has also decided to suspend its strike, stating that members will monitor the situation and give the government until the 16th of June before taking any further action.
We have called off the intended sit-down strike action that we came up with. We've been engaged by the Transport Ministry. The deductions are to take off this morning, and they have suspended it to on the 16th of this month, so that we will have enough engagement. We'll get back to you after we are satisfied with the final decision taken.
Meanwhile, Abbas, the PRO for the GPRTU, has also expressed sadness over some drivers' failure to reduce transport fares by 15% as earlier directed.
Here we are, most of the people have reduced their lorry fares by this 15%. Others haven't. Those who haven't are cheating those who have reduced their lorry fares. Those who haven't are cheating their own relatives that they are picking to and from work and etc. etc. So we'll plead with those in authority to make sure they make sure the laws of the land really works.
Telecel Ghana has launched the Telecel Too Much Money promo, directly responding to customer requests to continue the popular More Money promo. This initiative is part of Telecel Ghana's commitment to providing innovative experiences for its customers.
Telecel Ghana is positioning itself as a leader in customer-focused telecommunications through its commitment to providing innovative experiences for its customers. The promo, which kicks off from now to September, promises to bring more value to subscribers. Consumer Business Unit Director Aneth Jamila Muga explained how the promo operates. She detailed the process for participation, emphasizing the steps customers needed to follow.
For you to be part of the promo, you first need to opt in or activate the promo, either by dialing *500#, and then you find the menu there. Press 1, that is activate the promo, because we want to know that you want to be part of the promo. Or for those who doesn't like using a USSD, you can even send a word WIN to a short code 500. That is SMS WIN to 500, 500. For you to be part of the winner or to compete for 1 or 2 million Ghana cedis, you need to at least give us 5 Ghana or above.
She also encouraged consumers to participate in the Too Much Money promo.
I know there are a lot of success stories we had last year. We've had people who went and paid for school fees as part of the weekly winners that we are giving. We've all seen Ellen, who is a nursing student. We want to continue giving to Ghanaians. If you're changing 2 or 3 Ghanaians' life, that's what we do at Telecel.
Ultimate winner of the just-ended Telecel More Money promo, Ellen Oparibia Akoi, affirmed the genuineness of the promotion.
I didn't believe the money was real. I thought it was fraud. So I didn't have interest in it that instant. But as time goes on, I believed in it.
We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market. And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
News coming in a few minutes ago, we've seen a letter from the family of Ken Ofori-Atta indicating that their family relative has been unlawfully declared as a wanted person, and they have asked the OSP to first of all take his name off the wanted list, and they've also said that in the letter they've written to Interpol asking that Ken Ofori-Atta's name be taken off the red list. So I just want to read portions of the letter to you, and it says that they have cited that the letter written by the special prosecutor is a deliberate suppression and manipulation of evidence by the OSP. They also say that it's a violation of human rights, an example of his right to health, and it disregarded his judicial proceedings and denial of due process and a breach of administrative justice. And it's a 4-page letter that the family of Ken Ofori-Atta have written, primarily saying that the decision or the actions taken by the Office of the Special Prosecutor declaring Ken Ofori-Atta a wanted man was wrong, illegitimate, and trumps on his human rights. So they are also finding ways of fighting that. If you go to our website, 3news.com, you get details of it. Also, Ghana Tonight will discuss it in total. Time now for sports.
Sports segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. Now, Arsenal and Ghana midfielder Thomas Partey believes that talents from the nation need better youth structures and ample opportunities to achieve their dreams of becoming professional footballers. This belief has driven the former Atletico Madrid star to organize a tournament. The second edition focused on recruiting the best talents for opportunities outside the country. He revealed it all in an exclusive interview with 3 Sports.
Well, I think it should be easy to see because growing up, I have this picture like, some of us were lucky, and if we were able to get like more opportunity to show or to be taken outside or to, get a better team, we will get more than 1 or 2, So I think the idea is to give the little kids or the children who are, who want to play football the chance, to be able to get more than 1 or 2, because if you are lucky and then you have 1 player, I think with the opportunity to see more of them, you can have more than 1. So growing up, some of my mates have a lot of talent, but, no opportunity. I think with this tournament, everything is free for the kids. They just have to come and play. And then there are a lot of scouts coming from outside. They will see them because when someone is good, it's easy to see. So the main idea is to give the opportunity to the Ghanaian kids and, for them to be able to get to where we want them to be.
Now, Brighton defender Tariq Lamptey has agreed a 1-year contract extension with the club. The 24-year-old Ghana international made 20 appearances in all competitions last season, scoring 3 goals. Lamptey joined the Seagulls in 2020 from boyhood club Chelsea. And last season, Lamptey appeared in 20 matches across all competitions, netting 3 times and setting up 2 more goals for his teammates. The contract extension comes as welcome news for Brighton supporters, who can now look forward to seeing Lamptey bombing down the right wing for at least another campaign. Now, Inter Milan have officially confirmed Christian Kivu as their new head coach after the former player signed a contract valid until June 2027. Kivu, a former Romanian defender, joins Inter after guiding Parma to Serie A safety in his first senior coaching job. That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. Entertainment is up next.
GTP, life-styled. And Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil. Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Tonight in this segment, it was an eventful weekend filled with excitement and unforgettable moments. Tonight, we bring you highlights of some of the major events that took place across the country over the weekend.
It was an unforgettable weekend, one filled with excitement, energy and vibrant celebrations across the country. From the northern city of Tamale to the bustling streets of Accra, thousands of music lovers came together to enjoy spectacular performances, delicious food and meaningful moments with friends and family. Starting up north at the Aliyu Muhammad Sports Stadium in Tamale, Fancy Gadam headlined a massive concert titled The One Dawn Concerts. The show featured talented performers from all 5 northern regions, with Shatawale joining Fancy Gadam on stage for what many are calling an epic night in Ghanaian music history. Meanwhile, in Accra, the energy continued to build up as Pent Hall Week reached its climax with an electrifying artist night.
Is there? And if you hear this and then go on, bend your back, go on, bend your knees, baby, shake it to the max.
The week-long celebration, which began on June 1, featured a diverse lineup of events from sports and games to music and community service. The climax did not disappoint, with unforgettable performances by top stars like Stoneboy, Mayokun, RJZ, and Kweku Smoke, who lit up the stage and thrilled a packed audience. Adding to the weekend star-studded festivities, TGMA Artist of the Year King Promise delivered a special intimate performance at the Artist of the Year Industry Mixer. The exclusive event, powered by Chatterhouse, organizers of the prestigious Telesol Ghana Music Awards, TGMA, brought together fans and industry players for a memorable night of music and celebration, including a plaque presentation in honor of King Promise's milestone win.
Time now for international news.
Dozens of activists have staged a protest outside a mortuary in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, following the death of a 31-year-old man in police custody. Albert Omondi Ojwang's death has sparked outrage in Kenya. He was arrested following a complaint by the deputy police chief, who accused him of tarnishing his name on social media. In an initial statement, police said that Mr. Ojwang sustained head injuries after hitting his head against a cell wall while in custody. However, the Ojwang's family's lawyer, Julius Juma, said the body bore signs of severe physical trauma, including swelling on the head, nose and ears. Kenya.
Now we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I am Portia. Gabor. Do join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana tonight. Good evening.